Hi there. Now let's do lesson 265. Creation's gentleness is all I see. Again, a statement of declaration of the truth that you want to live from, because it is the truth that is going to set you free. So you are choosing to live by this truth, even while you fake it, fake it while you make it, and you're just practicing it. Look, it took you many years of practicing what's not true to create those neurological pathways in your brain that gave you the physical evidence of your discomfort, your anxiety. Your body began to break down. You felt disease because you were not at ease. Your mind was not at ease believing all those things, and it happened very gradually. So it's going to be gradually that we return our mind into a sane place, because we got to let go of what's not true. So creation's gentleness is all I see. Paragraph 1. I have indeed misunderstood the world, because I lay my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. What a great statement of declaration. This was true for me, for sure. I had indeed misunderstood the world. I was projecting my nonsense on it. I was looking out there, judging out there, because I couldn't see the judgments that I was producing. So seeing that as projection, it was looking back at me. It was my opportunity to see what was going on in here. So how fierce they seemed, those judgments, those projections. And how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. This is why I have such compassion for people who are afraid, because I know what I went through when I had all those fears in my mind. I could be so gentle with Dan. I could be so gentle with Spencer. Not always gentle with Ken. It took me a little time to shift, because I was in my spiritualized ego, so I was feeling superior because I knew it in my head, but I had to live it. I had to practice it and embody it and grit my teeth and say, I love you, and I didn't. You are pure, when he wasn't, because my mind was judging it. So here you begin to listen to this. Sentence number 3, and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. It's really hard for us to accept that we're doing our own suffering. We're the creators of our self-inflicted wounds. We're the ones doing that to ourselves. So it requires some spiritual maturity to come to the place that we realize that by our admittance that we're powerful beyond measure, which is our greatest fear, as Marianne Williamson wrote in A Return to Love, because it's from A Course in Miracles. When we realize that our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure, and we've been using our power to hurt ourselves, that's what we've been doing. We were ignorant. We didn't know that. But once you begin to realize that you have this much power, then we're arrogant and we get spiritualized when we think we're better than they are, and you should shift. We need to shift. We need to be the one who shifts and lifts and turns on the light of salvation for all to see. Today, I see the world in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. When I can see through the eyes of God and I have turned on my light, of course, I'm going to see everything with gentleness, celestial gentleness. It's a gentleness beyond understanding. There is no fear in it. That's why I don't take what Dan is doing personally, because it's not about me. He's creating his own fears in his mind. And you could say, well, maybe he's not into you. Yes, that's true. You could say he's not into me. But when we fall in love, if you focus on love, it can only build. When we fall in love and we express love, and I could feel the love from that man. I absolutely could feel it coming to me as mine was going to him. There was a bond many, many times that was felt there. But when you don't nurture that and you let fear-based thoughts come in, judgments come in, you pull away. So we don't fall out of love as much as we step into fear. So this is where there is no fear once you realize that it's in my head. I don't have to fear whatever it is that you're doing. It's in my head. So let me not think it, and then love can flow through me. Let no appearances of my sin obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. No appearances of my sins. My sins is that there's something wrong with me, that nobody loves me, that I am unworthy, that I'm not good enough, that I am not smart enough, I'm not capable of loving, I have nothing to offer. All of those thoughts, if you believe them, then you're going to begin to believe that they can see that I'm not good enough. Let me get rid of them before they get rid of me. Or you begin to believe, I am not happy, or I'm not capable of love, I'm not worthy of love, then we start to project, you're not worthy of love, you're not capable of love, you don't deserve my love. So we begin to project it out there. And what's happening is we're justifying it in here, so we shut down. So nobody ever falls out of love. We only step into a wall of fear. We begin to create a wall of fear. That's all that happens. We step behind that wall of fear and forget it. Love cannot be felt. That's what's insane about this. What is reflected there is in God's mind. So let no appearance of sin obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is in God's mind. God sees this world as a playground, as heaven on earth, as Eden for us, the Garden of Eden. The images I see reflect my thoughts. Am I seeing happy people or unhappy people? It's reflecting my thoughts. If I see them as unhappy, it's my unhappiness that I'm projecting. If I see them as happy, it's my happiness that I'm projecting. And I like to think of Dan as a beautiful, innocent, pure child of God who is the essence of love, joy, and peace, who is kind and gentle and compassionate, because that's who I know myself to be. Yet is my mind at one with God's, and so I can perceive creation's gentleness. I can be gentle there because I know He's not doing anything on purpose to hurt me. He's doing it ignorantly and hurting himself. That's it. Maybe I'll find another partner that I can share all this love with. But until that happens, I'm going to still share my love with everybody. I'm going to share it with Dan because it feels good. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back. It'd be beautiful. I would love that. But I don't know what anything is for, and I trust that God is always, always taking care of me, and my alignment with God and my expectation of this or something greater is always active. So this or something greater. I'm just grateful to know that I can choose to see God in everything I see. I can choose to see what is pure, what is holy, what is beautiful. It feels really good in here. So can you imagine when I have a partner who can receive and give it back to me? Wow. Amazing. The prayer. In quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. Here's the key to this. In quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts, God's thoughts, and mine as well. Let me remember that they're the same. When my desires for holiness are the thoughts that I see, the thoughts that I believe in, I'm aligned with God. There is no block to thinking with God. When we align with the truth, everybody is holy, everybody is pure, everybody is innocent. Either they're caught up in their head and they're creating their own suffering, or they're not. If they're caught up in their head, they're calling for love, my love. If they're not caught up in their head and they're living from their heart and they're extending love, giving and receiving, we're just bouncing back and forth, love, joyful, how fun it is. Think of your best friends, the children, the moments that you guys get along, your spouses, your partners, your parents. When you get along, it's an exchange of love. Doesn't it feel joyful? Well, we can have that with everybody. We really can. We're moving in that direction, and maybe quite a few generations before we do that all the time, but we're beginning to move in the direction of realizing that only love is real, only love can heal, only love will create heaven on earth. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.